Hey guys, welcome back. I'm going to be working on the Whirlwind pinball cabinet. I really need to get it in primer tonight. Put brakes on my van today and it went from an hour to an hour and a half drive to, I don't know, 3.5 hours. So put me a little bit behind schedule, but I need to get this thing done. He just got the play field just about wrapped up yesterday. So I need to get this thing done, primered and painted black. And I don't know what he's doing on it for, I would imagine it's a full vinyl wrap. I'm not sure. So before I start sanding this down, I think what I'm gonna do is hit these couple big nicks. Just fill in the nicks themselves, pull the Bondo really tight because I don't really want to leave Bondo on the painted surface right now. And let that set up while I start sanding other areas of the cabinet, because that's going to take more than one coat regardless. So I might as well hit the big deep areas first. So I'm going to mix up some Bondo and hit these couple spots real quick. Okay, I'm just going to mix up some so that we can get it in these areas where the plywood top layer has delaminated off the rest of it. It's solid now that those pieces have gotten ripped out of there, but I think the side rails, the chrome side rails had double-sided tape or something on it, and it ripped off the plywood when it got taken off, my guess. So like I said, we're just gonna stick it in there and scrape it off. This will give us our base layer, because we haven't sanded around the neck, so you don't really want to leave a bunch of Bondo on there, or you have to sand it off because it's not going to adhere well, and then everything you put over top of it at that point is just going to fail because it's not adhered to the paint because it hasn't been scuffed up yet. But we're going to make sure we sand off all the extra. Now the legs are going to cover this spot, but I'm still going to fill them in. So just trying to get every spot that I see. Oh, there's another one over on this side. Mixed up too much. This should go pretty quick. We're going to sand it all down, fill in any nicks that we see, and then prime it with a good 3 solid coats of primer, heavy coats of primer. I want to really fill this in, all the wood grain and everything. I want it to be smooth so that when I paint it, it turns out really nice. So I think that's all the major nicked areas. I have to give him a call real quick. He said something about the wood inside of there. I see there's 2 pieces laying in there, so I don't know if I need to reattach them or what I need to do. So let me let this dry for a couple minutes. I'll be back. Okay, I didn't have to give him a call. I can see what it is. So basically what happened was this piece got knocked off. So I need to grind those staples down so that they're smooth, and we need to re-glue and staple this. It actually looks like there's screw holes here. They had screw holes in it, so we'll do that. Or yeah, we'll throw a couple staples in it. And then this piece right here, I don't know if this, yeah, this was stapled on as well. I don't know why it was taken off. I don't know the reason behind that, but I'm gonna give him a call to see if he wants me to put screws in there and staples or what he wants me to do. So, all right, I'm gonna let this set up for a couple minutes and I'll be back. Okay, just got off the phone with him. So what the deal is, I need to grind down the staples on the back of this so I can re-staple it and glue it here. We gotta leave a gap for the glass. And then this wedge piece goes on top and it sits pretty much tight on that cleat. Now somebody had hacked it up and put these screws in there. So these screw holes are not supposed to be here. So we're gonna take glue and a stapler and glue these and staple them, and then fill in the screw holes with Bondo on these cleats and on this angle piece. And then I have to fix this down here. Got a little crack in the wood here, so I'm gonna take a screwdriver and pry that apart, put some hardener or something in there. And then these carriage bolts I'm gonna take out. because it's not vinyl that he's putting on it. I don't know what it is, but whatever he's doing for artwork, I'm not a pinball guy. I don't really know much about this, but whatever he's doing for artwork, we'll see it in a future video. What we'll do is after these couple videos I make of getting this thing painted black, I'm gonna have my buddy who's doing videos on his channel of the assembly, disassembly and reassembly of this game. I can post links to it so you guys can see this thing finished up. But all the carriage bolts and L brackets on the head, I'm gonna take those out because we're gonna paint inside black, inside the cabinet black, the bottom of the cabinet black. Everything's getting painted black. And then he's gonna go over it with whatever kind of artwork that he's doing. The reason why I'm taking the carriage bolts out is I think he's gonna put chrome ones in after he's done with the artwork. So, all right, I should be ready to get my sander set up and we can start sanding this down. It's a little sticky still, but I can kind of stay away from the Bondo and just start knocking down the big areas first. Basically gonna be doing the same thing we do with an arcade cabinet, except for it's a pinball cabinet. Okay, I'm gonna do my usual. My DA, which is hooked up to vacuum, 180 grit sandpaper. We're gonna start knocking this down. I need to plug the vacuum in real quick. We're gonna wanna sand this really, really smooth. We can use the original paint as part of our filler process. So it'll help smooth out the graining in the wood. I'm not going to show a real long time of me sanding. I just want to do a little bit so you can see what it looks like. See there's a bunch of little scratching and stuff, and they're actually sanding out pretty good. We got a nick right here, we got a nick right here, a nick right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and get both sides and the top right here, the front buzzed down with 180, and then we're gonna come back and put more filler over all the spots that I see. And then we'll let that set for a little bit, and then we'll continue on. Okay, the sides and the top front are sanded down. We're gonna mix up a little bit of filler here. I'm gonna show you what I use. I show it on every video that I do body work on because I don't know if this is somebody's first time being on the channel and hasn't seen previous videos, so I always repeat myself in case there's somebody new. So we're gonna use this Dolphin Glaze by U-Pull. We just mix it with some hardener. We don't need a ton of it, because that first batch that I filled in got the real deep areas done. I plan on, my goal is to finish up Miss Pac-Man this week, get this pinball cabinet painted this week, and I'd like to finish up pole position this week. If I can get those three out of here, then I can start on these two Stargate cabinets and start putting together my Paperboy cabinet in the basement. It's been sitting down there all by itself with the other games not turned on, waiting for its artwork and its guts to go in it. So I'm just taking this, don't stir your filler, just flip it over. If you stir it, you create air pockets, which creates air bubbles. So we're just gonna go around now and get every area. We still might need a third coat. Not sure yet. Now I'm putting it on a little bit thicker, not pulling it off as tight as I did on that first coat, because we are sanded down all the way and I want to start filling it out now. I probably won't get this primer tonight. It's already 8 o'clock. To be honest with you, I don't really know. I might just get this bodywork started and Maybe we'll get that head glued and stuff and then get it in primer tomorrow night. We'll do a second video on getting it in primer, finishing up whatever body work we have to finish up. And get it in primer so that Tuesday I can paint it, maybe Tuesday afternoon after it sits for a day. We can get it sanded down Tuesday or Wednesday, I'll say. But I'm trying to get every single little nick that I see. There's still an opportunity to get some of them after you paint, or after you primer if you need to. All right, I'm gonna stop the camera for a minute, finish doing this on the other side and on the front. And then I'll be back in a little bit to sand it down. Okay, I want to get these bolts and these L brackets out of the head. So I was messing with the corner, and this is the opposite side that I have to fix. I just literally peeled this right off. It was just dangling there. I didn't notice it at first. So we need to fix that. Luckily, it's not real thick. It's just a thin layer of plywood. So we only need to use Bondo on it. Okay, I'll get my drill to make this a little bit quicker. Okay, let's pull off these angle brackets on the inside here. I don't want to paint them. It'll look better. We can clean these up a little bit on the wire wheel. Yeah, I think tonight we're just going to get the repair work done and get these pieces of wood glued back on and stuff. Let it set overnight. This side's completely loose once I took that bracket off, which is good. It'll get me easier to get in there and glue it, and we'll staple it back together and then fill the staple heads in. Okay, I'm going to do the first coat. I'll wait a minute to do that because I want to glue this and staple it first. So, all right, let me get some more stuff together and then we will get this head stapled and glued up and stuff. Okay, let's get this these staples ground down in here so that we can glue it and re-staple it. I'm not going to use carpenter's glue on this. I'm going to use a fast setting glue. off the old glue so that it sits flat. Okay, I wonder what that hole's for. That one right there is kind of weird. Don't know what that's about. Oh, it looks like it had a screw-in collar at one point. Okay, so basically, I'm going to use this glue right here. It's made by JB Weld. It's a quick setting steel reinforcement epoxy. You can use it on wood, metal, and a bunch of stuff. I'm going to have to mix it up. Let me get a piece of cardboard to mix it up, and we're going to put it on there. Sometimes I like to use this stuff rather than wood glue, just because it dries quicker. And it's pretty hard. It dries pretty darn hard. It stinks though. So this we can stir. Get it, mix it until it's a good gray consistency. You only have a few minutes to work with it, so. Oh man. Go get something here. Round two. I just had to pull out that razor blade that I dropped in there. So what we're going to do is just take it and put it on the back here. All right, line it up. Get it stapled in. We're going to do the exact same thing with this one now. Mix up a little bit more. Then, oh, you know what? I gotta glue that corner up there too to mix up a third batch. These are only 1-inch staples, so they're not going to go through the front side. I think my stapler got jammed. All right. Okay, that's pretty good there. We have this corner up here that is screwed up. Oh boy, took the camera right out of the tripod. There we go. See this? It's just all messed up right there. We're gonna pack it with some of this epoxy. and then we're going to staple it. Then I'm not going to do anything else with the head of this tonight. I'm going to let it sit, let it dry. I don't want to put a bunch of pressure on it or anything like that. So I'm going to separate this, let this go down into there. Use my Bondo spreader and kind of shove it down into the crack. Oh boy. Beautiful. Nice and tight. Now we'll just let that glue sit overnight. So now what I think we're gonna do, actually maybe I'll fill that, got a little bit left on here. Fill in that groove that's missing, or that piece of wood that's missing right there. Could sand off the extra tomorrow. And that'll be good as new, especially once that angle brackets go back in there. Bondo spreaders, I just throw them away because that stuff doesn't like to clean off of anything. So, all right, now I'm gonna set up, and we are gonna get back to, we're gonna sand down this cabinet again with some 180 grit. Both sides and the front. And then I'll touch up any other nicks that I see on this part tonight and just let it dry overnight. And also we will mix up some and at least put it on that spot in that corner that peeled off on the head, just to let it dry overnight. So that tomorrow we can do the last little bit of body work that we need to do, and we can get this thing in primer. Before I do that, you know, I want to do one thing to the head. I'm taking this little angle grinder and I'm grinding where all the screws and staples are at. Because if I'm gonna mix up a little bit of filler to fill that in, I can at least hit these spots. The reason why I like to do this with the grinder like this, little grinder, is I make a little bit of a divot. By making a little bit of a divot, it'll fill in better than just leaving it the way it is. It just gives it a little bit more room for the material to grab and to fill in. Okay, we're gonna use 180 grit again because I don't like to use 80 unless I need to, because then I have to worry about the 80 grit sanding marks. So starting with 180, the 180 sanding grit marks, the filler primer I use completely fills those in and you don't have to worry about them. And this material is a little bit easier to sand than regular Bondo. I forgot to put a second coat on this gouge right here earlier, so I never even second coated that one. Okay, I'm gonna sand down the spots on this side, and then we'll come back and do some more fillering, and then that'll be it for tonight. Okay, I'm gonna mix up some more filler now. I didn't mean to say fillering, I meant to say more filling. Been a long couple days, a little out of it. Like I said, tomorrow night we'll finish up whatever we need to finish up on it. We'll get it primered. And then let it dry. Probably just let it dry overnight. I'll heat up the spray booth, get it good and hot. Let it dry overnight. Then Tuesday we can sand it down and possibly paint it. Maybe Wednesday at the latest. I mean, if I see stuff that I don't like the way it looks, we're going to do some touch-ups to it before we paint it. So we'll see how that goes. And sometimes we'll do the touch-ups without having to re-primer, just by using that epoxy sealer before I paint. So it's really hard on plywood cabinets, especially, to find every single nick before you primer. So chances are when you primer, you're gonna miss something. And if it's not real bad, you could just touch it up with this glazing putty here, and you could just use a sealer to put down before you paint. So I need to be careful now and go around and find everything that I don't like the way it feels. Real little minor things will not matter because the filler primer will fix those. Especially 3 heavy coats. Gotta make sure that I get that big nick that I forgot last time on the other side. He's making this pinball like perfect, so I want to make sure the cabinet's really, really nice for him to do whatever he's doing with the artwork. So where's that? I just here. Now, I'm not dragging it as tight as I did the first coat because the rest of the cabinet's been sanded, so it is not going to hurt it. It's going to adhere to it now, so it's not going to matter. I think this is looking pretty good. Fill in this head side right here. Kind of globbing it on here thick because it's going to dry overnight. I'm not worried about where it's not sanded because I am going to sand that off completely. But I did find another splinter of wood right here. Okay. I filled in that hole by accident for the carriage bolt, so I'll have to drill that out. Okay, I'll let that sit like that and get these spots in the front here. And we've got most of this bodywork done. I just need to mix up one more batch tomorrow. this stuff setting up. Okay, that's going to end part 1 of 3 on restoring this cabinet. Pretty basic, just like any other cabinet that we do. Really nothing different other than this stuff is peeling. You know, some of the wood's peeling pretty good, but that's pretty typical for a Williams game, especially with Stargate and stuff like that. I'm sure we're going to run into the same problem with that. Whatever plywood they used apparently delaminated as it got old, because this is, look at this, you know, same exact scenario. So whatever plywood they were using definitely did not hold up well. I mean, not bad, but not great either. Must have just been a low grade material, or, you know, 30, 40 years of water. This game's not that old, but those are pretty old. So, all right, guys, well, that's going to end this video, part 1 of the Whirlwind pinball restore of the cabinet. If you guys are liking what you're seeing, please like, subscribe, share. Any questions or comments, feel free to ask. Other than that, I will see you guys later. Thanks.